Okay, about 2 minutes, friends. We'll get started, okay? Shabbat Shalom, good morning, friends. It is wonderful to see you on this beautiful Saturday morning. Here we are on Kol HaMoed Pesach, the Shabbat that falls during Passover. And we hope that many of you are joining us virtually this morning to engage in worship and prayers together while apart. It's my hope that for those who have been feeling isolated due to social distancing and quarantine, feel a little bit more together this morning and know that you are part of a community and that you are not alone as we worship together here at Temple Israel. For those of us who choose to wear talit as we pray this morning, whether here in the sanctuary or in our homes, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to wrap ourselves in the fringes. The first thing we do this morning is we give thanks to God for our bodies and their health and their work. The words of Asher Yatzar. For those of you who have prayer books at home, we start on page 194. For those who are just listening, these prayers of Asher Yatzar and then Elohai Neshama remind us of the frailty of our bodies and the gifts that God provides to us, all the workings, inner workings of our body, and then the soul that God has implanted inside us. Asher Yatzar et ha'adam be'chokmah u'ravo nekavim arolim Asher Yatzar et ha'adam be'chokmah u'ravo nekavim Alulim, Alulim, Yadu, Lifnei Seidah, Sherim Yipateach Emane, O Yisatem Emane, Efshar Le'ikayim, Vela'amod Lefaneh, Baruch atah Adonai, Mafil Hason, Elohai, Elohai, Shama, Shenatatavi, Elohai, Elohai, Baruch atah Adonai, asher b'yado nefesh kol chai v'ruach kol basar ish. We seekers of God, how do we find Torah? In good deeds, and in the study of Torah and your search for us. You find us in the bending of the knee, in the rigor of study, in the honesty of commerce, through a good heart, through decency, in respect, true fellowship, companionship, and love, through truth and peace, and the no that is really no, and the yes that is really yes. Baruch atah Adonai, hamlamed Torah le'amo Yisrael. On page 206, we are just checking those wonderful comments saying Shabbat Shalom to everybody. We come to these words of Elu Divarim. These are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. These words of Elu Divarim. Friends, these are the things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Let's turn to page 214 as we sing together these words of Mizmor Shir LeYom HaShabbat, Psalm 92. We begin the words of Pizukei de Zimra. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name. Psalm 92. We come to Psalm 150, the final psalm in the book of Psalms, known most likely to others as the words Hallelujah. This psalm speaks about all the ways that we can praise God's name with the blasts of the horn, with harps and lyre, timbrel and dance, lute and pipe, resounding cymbals and loud clashing cymbals, but all that breathes praise God. Hallelujah. There was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music. It was like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major left. The baffled king composing hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, el de cocho, hallelujah, quiera uso, hallelujah, 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 take our shofar, hallelujah, with everything on, hallelujah, 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 with everything on, hallelujah, with everything on, hallelujah, hallelujah, We come to the end of Pizukei de Zimra, these words of Yishtabach. Yishtabach Shimchad La'ad Malkeinu, Ha'el HaMelech HaGadol VaKadosh B'Shamayim U'Ba'aretz, Ki Lecha Na'eh Adonai Eloheinu, V'Elohei Avotenu V'Imotenu, Sher Uvracha Halel V'Zimra, Oz HaMemshala Netzach Gdula Uvgura, Tehillah V'Tifer Kedusha U'Malchut, Brachot Vorod Me'ata V'Yad Olam, Baruch Atah Adonai, El Melech Gadol Batishbachot, El Haorot Adonai Niflaot, Habocher B'Shrei Zimra, Melech L'chei Olamim. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma divrach yirotei v'yamlik malchutei, B'chayechon u'vyomechon, Uv'chayedu chol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Uv'izman kariv v'yimeru Amen. יהי שמירה במבורך, ויעלם עולמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלל, שמי קודשה בריחו. אלא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן ועלמה, ויאמרו Amen. We come to our call to prayer, the words of Baruch Hu, and we let ourselves know and each other know that we are prepared to pray this morning, virtually and within our own homes or in this sanctuary. We are prepared, we are awake, we're ready to pray together and join together as one community virtually throughout this electronic stream. We come together and pray. Praise Adonai, come on, praise Him. Praise Adonai, come on, praise Him. Praise Adonai, come on, praise Him. Now and forever. In the beginning, even then, a new light was sown for the righteous, a promise that your light would become the catalyst, first for order and then for hope. Author of language and light, help us to use words as you have to cast light into dark waters and draw out justice and truth. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer Ham Orot. How deeply you have loved us, Adonai, our God, gracing us with surpassing compassion. On account of our forebears whose trust led you to teach them the laws of life, be gracious to us, teaching us as well. O merciful one, have mercy on us by making us able to understand and discern, to heed, learn, and teach, and lovingly to observe, perform, and fulfill all that is in your Torah. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava. Praise be to Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. On page 232 in our prayer book, we come together as one community to say the words of Shema. They are just as powerful virtually as they are in this room together. When we say them, we declare our Judaism proudly from wherever we are. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. Emet, there is no place where you are not, even in the wilderness, there is your word. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and we rejoice. Let us rejoice, friends, as we come to the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, and sing together these words that were sung on the shores of the Red Sea. Yisrael, Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, Uvdei Mecha Yehuda v'Yisrael, Go Aleinu Adonai Tzevaot Shemo, Kedosh Yisrael, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. We come to the heart of our service, our tefillah, where we bless God for giving strength to our ancestors, for God's strength and power, for God's holiness. But first we say those words, we sing those words, Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. So many of us are in need of this prayer. We don't know what to pray. We don't know how to feel sometimes during this pandemic. And so we reach out, as did the psalmist of Psalm 51, and ask God to help us with these prayers. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. We bless God for the ancestors and all that God was able to do for them. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Omel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevii Gula Lifnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah. we bless God's strength and power. And actually, normally we would say Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, but because Pesach, we are in Pesach, and Pesach has happened, we will change that to our summer Morid Hatal. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב לחושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו, לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממיט ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן נטל לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. We bless God's holiness. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו, מדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו ומלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, חי ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. ודור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We come to the part of our tefillah where we ask God to bestow peace upon the world, but not just peace, goodness and blessing, grace, kindness, and mercy to all of us and to all of humanity. We ask God to sim shalom, to place peace where it is needed in this world. Shalom, Sim Shalom Tova Sim Shalom Tova Came the chesed v'rachamim. Came the chesed v'rachamim. Rachamim shalom. Sim shalom tova. Aleinu, This time, we ask you to take a few moments of silent prayer, reflection, or meditation. Pray words to yourself that you need during these times. Pray to God for the things that God can provide you to help you be strong and be vigilant during this pandemic and all the other prayers you might have. Please pray silently. Say shalom, say shalom aleinu, ve'yakov Yisrael, say shalom, say shalom aleinu, ve'yakov Yisrael. Shalom aleinu, ve'yakov Yisrael. Say shalom, say shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'yakov Yisrael. Say shalom, say shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'yakov Yisrael. Well, friends, here comes the part where I miss you the most, and that is our Torah service. Not only because traditionally Torah is to be read to the public, out loud and everything, but also I miss all my honors, my friends. But this week we are in a special Torah portion for Chol HaMoed Pesach, for the Shabbat that falls in between Passover. And while we are normally in Leviticus right now, we jump back to Exodus 33:12. And this morning we'll read 33:12 through 23. There's some beautiful things that happen in this parsha. But we wish that you were here, able to do blessings and Hagba and Galila and all those things for us. But since you are not, we do sort of a makeshift Torah service where we read the text, and that's about all we can do. So we hope that you will share with us the love of Torah and what we will read this morning. We bless the Torah before we read any of the text that we read, even if the physical Torah is not with us. Baruch et Adonai hamvorach, Baruch Adonai barach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Vayomer Moshe el Adonai, Ru ata omer elai ha'al et ha'am hazeh ve'ata lo hodati et asher tishlach imi ve'ata amarta yadaticha v'shem v'gam matzata chen ba'enai ve'ata imna matzati chen ba'enecha hodi'eni na et darchecha va'adacha lema'an emtzachen ba'enecha urei ki amcha hagoy hazeh vayomar anav yelechu v'hanichoti la vayomer elav im ein panecha holchin al ta'aleinu mizeh uvameh yavada efo ki matzati chen ba'enecha ani va'amecha aloho v'lecholatecha imanu v'nifnenu ani va'amcha mikol ha'am asher al pnei ha'adama. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, kam el hadavar hazeh, asher dabarta e'ezeh, ki matzata chen ba'enai, va'eda'acha v'shem. Vayomar ar'eni na et kavodecha, Vayomer ani a'avir kol tuvi al panecha, vekarati v'shem Adonai lefanecha, v'hanati et asher achon v'richamti et asher arachem. Vayomer lo tuchal lir'ot et panav ki lo yira'enu ha'adam v'chai. Vayomer Adonai hine makom iti v'nitzavta al hatzor v'chaya ba'avod kevodi v'samticha b'kirat hatzor v'shochati chapi alecha ad aviri v'siroti et kapi v'reita et achorav u'panai lo yiraev Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam atah b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Here is the translation for you, friends. Moses said to Adonai, "See, you say to me, lead this people forward, but you have not made known to me whom you will send with me. Further, you have said, I have singled you out by name, and you have indeed gained my favor. Now, if I have truly gained your favor, pray let me know your ways, that I may know you and continue in your favor. Consider, too, that this nation is your people." And God said, "I will go in the lead and will lighten your burden." And he said to God, "Unless you go in the lead, do not make us leave this place. For how shall it be known that your people have gained your favor, unless you go with us, so that we may be distinguished, your people and I, from every people on the face of the earth?" And Adonai said to Moses, "I will also do this thing that you have asked, for you have truly gained my favor, and I have singled you out by name." And Moses said, "Oh, let me behold your presence." And God answered, "I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will proclaim before you the name Adonai and the grace that I grant, the compassion that I show. But," God said, "you cannot see my face, for man may not see me and live." And Adonai said, "See, there is a place near me. Station yourself on the rock. And as my presence passes by, I will put you in a cleft of the rock and shield you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but my face cannot be seen." With those words of Torah, we come now to other important words, which we typically say when we have the Torah out in our midst and we reenact Sinai and we feel close to God. And those are the words of Mishaberach, where we think of those in our midst who are in need of healing. There's so many in our community and in the world that are in need of healing, whether it be physical healing or also so much emotional and mental and spiritual healing is needed during these times of fear and quarantine and anxiety. So we wish that all of us can be extended that Mishaberach, the one who blessed our ancestors, to bless us with that feeling of safety and healing. Here at Temple Israel, on our Refuah Shlema list, we think of Jason Beckner, Chuck Bogard, Eileen Goss, Harry Herschel, Harriet Morrison, Michael Mund, Sandy Perlman, and Miss Sharon Tallis. To those names, we invite you, when I come to the words Hu Yevarech et HaCholim, to name some names, if you feel comfortable, of those you'd like us to know that are in need of healing, any kind of healing, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, so that we can all pray for them together. So when I come to those words, Hu Yevarech et HaCholim, please feel free to type in on Facebook or on YouTube any names that you are thinking of. Yishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah, Hu Yevarech et HaCholim. Please feel free and say some names. Type in some names that you are thinking of, people you're thinking of this morning. Thank you. Thank you. Got a few names popping up on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for sharing those with us. A few more. Great. Thank you for sharing these names with us. And as we continue the prayer, please feel free to continue saying those names and writing those names if you like. הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא מחרים עליכם, לחלימם ורפאתם וחזיקם, וישלח לכם מהרה רפואה שלמה מן השמיים, ופות הנפש ופות הגוף, השתה בגלה בזמן קריב נאמר מהי. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And together with that, we say, Amen. Thank you for sharing those names. We wish refuah shlema to all of those names. Our haftarah this morning comes from Ezekiel chapter 36. And the extent of this haftarah is different in various traditions. Some begin with the last two verses of chapter 36, which we will do, and others begin with chapters 37. There's also congregations who extend the text and end with the verses 15 through 17, but we're going to end with 37:14. For those who begin, like us, at 36:37, the connection is obvious. The two verses speak of the pilgrims who will visit the rebuilt Jerusalem during the festivals. The connection of the Shabbat of Pesach and the main body of the haftarah lies in the theme of Israel's deliverance, in the Torah that is delivered from slavery, and the haftarah that is delivered from death. We begin Ezekiel 36:37. Thus said Adonai, moreover, in this I will respond to the house of Israel and act for their sake. I will multiply their people like sheep. As Jerusalem is filled with sacrificial sheep during her festivals, so shall the ruined cities be filled with flocks of people, and they shall know that I am God. The hand of Adonai came upon me. God took me out by the Spirit of Adonai and set me down in the valley. It was full of bones. God led me all around them. There were many of them spread over the valley, and they were very dry. God said to me, O mortal, can these bones live again? I replied, O Adonai, only you know. And God said to me, prophesy over these bones and say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of Adonai. Thus said Adonai to these bones, I will cause breath to enter you, and you shall live again. I will lay sinews upon you and cover you with flesh, and form skin over you. And I will put breath into you, and you shall live again, and you shall know that I am God. I prophesied as I had been commanded, and while I was prophesying, suddenly there was a sound of rattling on the bones. The bones came together, bone to matching bone. I looked, and there were sinews on them, and flesh had grown, and skin had formed over them, but there was no breath in them. Then God said to me, prophesy over the breath. To the breath prophecy, O mortal. Say to the breath, thus said Adonai, come, O breath from the four winds, and breathe into these slain, that I may live again, that they may live again. I prophesied as God commanded me. The breath entered them, and they came to life and stood up on their feet, a vast multitude. And God said to me, O mortal, these bones are the whole house of Israel. They say, our bones are dried up, our hope is gone, we are doomed. Prophesy, therefore, and say to them, thus said Adonai, I am going to open your graves and lift you out of the graves, O my people, and bring you to the land of Israel. You shall know, O my people, that I am Adonai, when I have opened your graves and lifted you out of the graves. I will put my breath into you, and you shall live again, and I will set you upon your soil. Then you shall know that I, Adonai, have spoken and have acted, declares Adonai. So there's a little fascinating haftarah for you, with dry bones coming to life. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, tzur kol ha'olamim, tzadik b'chol ha'dorot, ha'el ha'ne'eman, ha'omer v'yoseh, ha'medaber b'chayim, shekol devarav b'mifat tzedek. Al haTorah v'al ha'avodah v'al ha'nvi'im v'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likusha v'limucha lechavod u'tifaret al ha'kol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach u'mvorachim otach yitbarach shimucha b'fi kol chai tamid le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha'shabbat. Well, friends, Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, Happy Passover. This morning we joined together, as I said, for Chol HaMoed Pesach, the Shabbat that falls during Passover. Hopefully many of you joined one another virtually for a Passover Seder this week. And we welcome you all this morning to another virtual Shabbat together. I found this week's Torah portion, the special portion we read for Chol HaMoed Pesach, to be especially fitting for our situation. In a conversation with God, as we read, Moses cries out, "Oh, let me behold your presence." How many of us are crying out to one another with these words? Just let me see. Let me behold your presence. Let this social distancing and quarantine end. Truly, we are all Moses standing on that rock asking for more. But the Parsha actually tells another relatable parallel. Let's rewind to the beginning of the passage we heard today. At Exodus 33:12, Moses said to God, "See, you say to me, lead this people forward, but you have not made known to me whom you will send with me. Further, you have said, I have singled you out by name, and you have indeed gained my favor. Now, if I have truly gained your favor," Moses said, "pray let me know your ways, that I may know you and continue in your favor. Consider too that this nation is your people." God responds, "I will go in the lead and will lighten your burden." And Moses said to God, "Unless you go in the lead, do not make us lead this place. For how shall it be known that your people have gained your favor unless you go with us, so that we may be distinguished, your people and I, from every people on the face of the earth?" Listen to Moses' words there. He's unsure. He's scared. He needs to know what kind of guidance God will provide Israel through the wilderness. Moses is even a little doubtful that he can accomplish the goal assigned to him without God being right there with him. As a great biblical scholar, Robert Alter, notes, Moses appears to balk at God's previous declaration that God will not go in the midst of the people to the promised land, but instead will delegate a divine messenger for the task. In other words, Moses, like us in this pandemic, is scared, he's unsure, and he needs some reassurance. We ask God, as Moses does, "Let me know your ways." In times of uncertainty, clergy around the world, we see an increase in spirituality and a desire for individuals to find connection to the divine. Many, thinking about the days ahead, are asking God what the future holds. Others turn to God in search of meaning. Moses says to God, "You say I'm supposed to lead, but where will you be?" Moses, feeling alone and unsure, asks God to be with him on this difficult task. "Unless you go with us," Moses says, "how are we to do this?" How we ask the same. How does God respond? With the words we are all yearning to hear. "I will lighten your burden." Literally, I will give you rest. But Moses is still unconvinced. He says to God, "Let me behold your presence," or perhaps, "Show me your glory." This is such a shift from the Moses we know from the beginning of the Exodus story. As Robert Alter again explains, Moses, who fearfully encountered God in the fire in the bush, is now ready and eager to be granted a full-scale epiphany, a frontal revelation of the look and character of this divinity that has been speaking to him from within the pillar of cloud. Like Moses, we too have changed. even in this short period of time. While we have not encountered God ourselves in the burning bush, just a few short weeks ago, we were terrified, unable to even grasp the approaching pandemic. Today, while we are still unsure, like Moses, we have found our footing. We have taken the experiences of those around us, those who have gone through this before, and we find ourselves more ready to face the problem head on. Yes, we still need reassurance, as Moses does. Yes, we're not quite ready to go ahead on our own without God or without help. But we've gained some confidence and some strength since this whole thing began. Unfortunately, for Moses and for us, he doesn't get what he asks for. He's not allowed to see into the divine world, into the full face of revelation. Rather, he receives only a glimpse of God, God's back, shielded by God's palm. So it is with our future. We're not able to see directly what will happen, not able to see in full view how this pandemic will play out, but we do get glimpses. We see how things are going in the rest of the world. We can predict the highs and the lows, but it's our burden as humans, and Moses's as well, that we do not get to see the full glory of God or the full picture of the future. We only get a hint. It'd be easy to be disappointed. Who wouldn't want to see God's face? Who wouldn't want to know the future? And yet, what would the human experience be if we knew everything that would happen? If we had no questions, no concerns? It is the uncertainties that make us reach out to one another. Times like these remind us not only of how hard it is to get through life alone, but also of how much we have to give to those in need. For example, how many of you have found yourself on Zoom or FaceTime with family more? In our home, my children FaceTime with their cousins almost daily. This is an interesting shift for us because their cousins have never been local. It's not like COVID changed how often my children can interact with them. Rather, what changed was a need for us all to connect more, to find reassurance in one another. And in our community, I see Facebook groups where strangers can post when they are in need of food or household items. And I see other individuals meet those needs. These needs have always existed in our community. And yes, more so now than ever, but somehow, something about COVID and the uncertainty has driven so many of us to act. Oh, let me behold your presence. COVID has reminded us of our place in the world. Our futures are, in fact, shielded by the hand of God. And where God cannot provide us comfort, where God cannot offer us shelter or manna, we have sought to provide for one another. We have been reminded of our interdependence. COVID reminds us that we aren't in this life alone. COVID reminds us that we cannot be in this life alone. My health, your health, it all depends on our individual actions for the collective good. When the greatest prophet of them all, Moses, sought more comfort and guidance from God, God promised a lighter burden. I don't know what God can promise us in times like these, in the time of COVID, but I do know what we can provide each other. When we have exhausted what God has given us, we can find strength in each other. We can lighten one another's burdens. And when we do, despite the unknowns, we can move forward from the rock and climb up Mount Sinai once again. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May this be God's will. As we come to the concluding aspects of our service, we turn to the words of Aleinu. Grab one more thing here. All right, yard site list. Where did the yard site list go? Too many pieces of paper. Let us now praise the sovereign of the universe and proclaim the greatness of the Creator who spread out the heavens and established the earth, whose glory is revealed in the heavens above and whose greatness is manifest throughout the world. You are our God. There is none else. Therefore, we bow in awe and thanksgiving before the one who is sovereign over all, the holy and blessed one. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim Lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Thus it has been said, Adonai will be sovereign over all the earth. On that day, Adonai will be one, and God's name will be one. V'ne'eman v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. At the end of each one of our services, we give thought to those who are no longer with us. These moments are especially difficult for us as we cannot be together here in the sanctuary offering support as those are grieving, as our friends are grieving. We extend our love and our comfort to those who are experiencing loss in our community and elsewhere. And we hope that virtually they find some comfort in knowing that they are not alone. We are mourning in Shiva, in 7 days of mourning for Dolores Fishman. And we are still in Shloshim in mourning for Deborah Lou Wallach. And we observe the yard site, the perpetual memorial for Albert Brodsky, Max Cohen, Sandy Ostroy, Morris Friedman, Bernard L. Horowitz, Bernard Winsky, Jonas Baumgart, Sheila Bach-Maid, Ethel Goldberg, Sylvia Levinson, Aaron Rogot, Oscar Winsky, Max Newman, and Harold Curtin. To those names, we invite you to add any more of those who have died in recent days or in years past at this season. Please feel free to say a name, if comfortable, of those who have passed in this community or elsewhere so that we can continue to grieve with all of you. Please feel free to type in a name if you like. We give thought for all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. We think of the 6 million who died in the Shoah and those who died defending this country and the state of Israel. And of course, we offer our Kaddish as well to those who have died from COVID-19, and certainly as well those doctors and nurses and professionals who have died in trying to fight the disease. May their memories be a blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agalah v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almai. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei, v'yetadar v'yetalev v'yetalal shemei dekudasha brichu ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran v'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who brings peace to the high places bring peace over us and over all of humanity as we say together, Amen. Well, friends, as we come to the end of another Shabbat service, we thank you all for joining us virtually and making sure that all of us recognize that we are not alone as we pray, even though our doors are closed. All of us are still together. A few announcements before we send you on your way. Join us next Friday, April 17th at 7:30 p.m. for another live stream Kabbalat Shabbat services. Watch your Thursday reminder on how to access those. If you are still having problems accessing, please let me know. I think we've fixed all of the bugs and things like that and all the links. But please let us know. Once again, the stay-at-home policy that the government has ordered, our temple office is basically closed. Kim will be working from home except Wednesdays 1 to 3. So if you need to drop anything off at the temple, please email us in advance so that we know you're coming. You can always email us or call us, but we do try to limit the traffic that goes in and out of our temple to make sure that it remains clean and safe. So please try to remember that. And if you need something, please let us know. We hope that you have been enjoying Voices from Quarantine. With many of our members staying at home or practicing social distancing, some of us can feel isolated or not connected to the community. So we are still inviting you to send us check-ins or writings you'd like to share. Completely optional, but if you just want to let us know how you're doing and tell us a story or something like that, we'll publish it in our Thursday reminders and then our monthly newsletter for those who don't receive emails. So send them by Tuesday each week and we'll publish them. It's always nice to hear what's going on in the community, even just a few sentences to let us know that you're doing okay. I think people really want to know and to connect. So think about contributing to Voices from Quarantine. Our third episode of Torah from a Distance is up. As we're experiencing social distancing, I'll be uploading periodically some learning sessions onto the Temple Israel Facebook page and the Temple Israel website. So the third episode is up, so go ahead and read it, and we'll have another one next week. So Temple Israel's Spring Cleanup Day, tentatively scheduled for Sunday, April 19th at 10 a.m. I'm told CDC guidelines will be followed, including social distancing. So watch your email and Thursday reminder for more information. We'll see if that occurs. I personally, and I know the temple as well, want to thank everyone for supporting our social action committee and donating items to the YWCA Women's Shelter for Victims of Domestic Violence. Our donations were dropped off at the shelter on Friday, and the shelter was beginning to get low on those items, so they were very appreciative. So there's so much that we can still do for this community, so we really do thank you for providing for those who are in need. Some of the problems and challenges that occur in our community still go on, and so just because there's a pandemic doesn't mean they stop, and so in fact all the more so people are in need of these basic items. So we really are appreciative of our Temple Israel members donating items and going out and bringing items. So it means a great deal to us to be a temple of social justice and making sure that our community is taken care of. And I know that the YWCA, as well as all the other organizations that we support, are very grateful for our help. So thank you, friends, for helping us take the lead in that. So other than that, my friends, we wish you a Shabbat Shalom, a Shabbat of peace, of health and safety. Please continue to wash your hands and practice social distancing and quarantine. Don't take risks. We don't want to see an upsurge of cases. Please protect your loved ones and protect yourselves. Please stay safe. And if you need anything, my phone is open. Please call or email. And I'm happy to provide some care to you if you need. And I know that there are many others in this community who are also in need of care and want to check in with each other. So, you're not alone. We are here together at Temple Israel, alone but not apart. So please know that Temple Israel is that resource for you during this time. So Shabbat Shalom and stay safe, friends.